You have your curriculum, you have your planner. Now what? Today, I'm gonna show you my super simple way to organize all your curriculum and figure out your lesson plans so that you get everything done without feeling totally stressed out. I am really excited because today this video is a collaboration with Dina over at Pursuing Peace. If you do not know Dina, you need to go check out her channel, Pursuing Peace. Dina is an amazing homeschool mom of 5 kids, ages 7 and under. She just exudes the joy of the Lord. She has this calming, joyful presence about her that just sucks you in and makes you want to watch. She has a ton of amazing homeschool content over there that I know that you are just gonna love. We talked about doing a video that's kind of homeschool mom organization, and I am kind of coming at it from the perspective of how I organize all of my curriculum and my lesson plans to kind of have a flow and an easy just manageability to it. So that's what I'm gonna be sharing here on my channel today. But Dina is also gonna be sharing some amazing homeschool mom organization tips. So make sure you check out her video when you're done with this one. I will leave a link to that in the description below. If you are visiting from Dina's channel, thank you so much for popping by to check out my channel too. My name is Erin. I'm a homeschooling mom to 4 kids, ages 5 to almost 13. And we have been homeschooling from the very beginning. I love to share things here on this channel. There are things that we have learned along our process of 8 years of homeschooling that have helped me to create a more peaceful, relaxed, joy-filled homeschool experience that is not just like stressed out and crazy and frazzled all of the time. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. If you are new to homeschooling or still just kind of getting your feet wet in this process, I know that it can be really overwhelming when you are trying to figure out how to make all of this work. I know for me, in looking up different videos about how other homeschool moms plan everything out, honestly, I get a little bit intimidated looking at what they do. And as much as I hate to say it, some of the stuff that I've seen out there kind of stresses me out. And then I started thinking that maybe you guys might be feeling stressed out looking at all of this stuff too and trying to figure it out. So today I'm gonna show you my super simple way to get all of my curriculum set up and organized and figure out our kids' lesson plans and what they need to do each day and for the entire week, and how I kind of keep track of all of that in my planner using reverse planning. If you missed my video a couple of weeks ago, I will link that here. That is all about how I use my homeschool planner for reverse planning or record keeping as opposed to planning things out ahead of time. And that is just a tremendous stress saver and has worked so well for me for many years here in our homeschool. We specifically choose curriculum that is very much open and go. So there is not a lot of pre-planning involved ahead of time. So it's very easy for us to just pick up our book and pick up where we left off. And that is the way I like it. I am just not the best planner. It's just not me. I feel like one of the big challenges that we make as homeschool moms is that we can overcomplicate things. We try to make it feel like it is this big to-do in order to homeschool our kids, and it really doesn't have to be. There is a much simpler way to do things. Certainly there is no one right or wrong way to organize your curriculum, to set up your planner, to go about your homeschool day. That is an individual decision that you need to make and figure out what is going to work best for you. So let's jump into how to get all of this organized, and then I'm going to show you how this all plays out in our homeschool. My kind of overall game plan, I have to kind of look and think with the end in mind, right? To figure out how much of it we need to get through on a weekly basis in order to have the goal of trying to get at least close to finishing it by the end of the school year. First of all, we have to figure out how many lessons are in each curriculum. That is easy to look through at the table of contents. You can open it up and see how many lessons are in the curriculum. A lot of curriculum is a 4-day-a-week setup, and that works fantastic so that you then have that 5th day where you can play catch up if you need to, or just have fun activities that you do, or things that are those like non-core subjects, or nature walks or outings or co-ops, or those kind of things are great to do on a 5th day. Don't feel like you have to do every single lesson that is in the curriculum. Quite often people do not finish the entire curriculum by the end of the school year, and that's the case in public school too. It's not very often they get through every single lesson that is in a book that is written. So keep that in mind too, and don't put too much pressure on yourself to get through every single question or every single problem in the curriculum that you're doing. If you are curious what curriculum we use, I will link a whole playlist of videos in the description below that will tell you what I have chosen for kindergarten, 3rd grade, 5th grade, and 7th grade, as well as all of our family subjects that we use. Once I know the total number of lessons that are in each curriculum, I can fill that in here on my individual subject checklist in the back of my planner. And so for example, for math, for my son here, he will have a total of 132 lessons. So on my checklist here, I will fill in the total number of lessons, including the review lessons, in this one place, so I have a visual for what we need to do for the school year. The next thing that you want to figure out is how many lessons that you need to do per week. In Washington, we're required to teach 180 school days per year, which balances out to 36 weeks if we do 5 days per week for school. So then I will take that 132 total number of lessons and divide that out by 36, and that gets me 3.67 lessons per week, which is perfect. So my plan then for math will be to do math 4 days a week, which is exactly what I wanted to do, because we do traditional school in our house for 4 days a week, and then Fridays is our unschool day this year. So Friday we have a different plan that we follow where our kids have some educational time, but we don't do our traditional subjects. That is time for them to pursue their own interests. And so this fits in perfectly with being able to do our 4-day-a-week traditional school subject schedule. So then you want to go through and do that for all of your subjects. Having that here on this checklist really just helps it to visually give you that reference for where you are at as you go throughout the year and see, you know, if you're ahead, if you're behind. After I have gone through and done this for all of my kids, for their individual subjects, you want to set up some kind of schedule or a lesson plan or idea of when you are going to do each subject throughout the week. From the get-go, you need to know, and I've talked about this many times here on my channel, that you do not need to do every single subject every single day. And that is one thing that is a tremendous stress saver, to not feel like you have to just be doing school from sun up to sundown. That's just impossible to do, especially if you have more than one kid. The idea with setting this up is just to kind of have a goal to shoot for, something that will help you to establish a flow and kind of a routine so that your kids kind of know what to expect each day, as well as you, so you can kind of keep yourself organized a little bit. For us, I come up with what I call a weekly lesson plan. And this is something that we just started last year, and it worked so well for us that we are certainly doing again this year. And this is just an Excel sheet that I typed up, and I have each kid listed on here with all of their individual subjects, along with how many that they need to do per week. And my goal with this is really to teach my kids some personal responsibility, which is key, right? They need to learn how to be responsible and get things done when they need to do them. And so part of that is by having this checklist that this is for them to look at and see what they need to do each day, and then they go and mark off once they have it done. This checklist gives us an idea of what subjects to do on which days, but then our normal daily routine goes off of our block schedule system, and I've got a video about block scheduling that I will link in the description below if you're curious about what that looks like. The last thing as far as organizing all of this stuff is really just finding a place to keep it all. I keep all of our individual subject curriculum and my planner and all of my teacher guides on the top of our homeschool cart that normally just kind of hangs out here in the dining room with us. So it's right next to the table where we do most of our schoolwork, and it's easy to grab and put things back away when we're done with it so things don't end up lost. On the top of our homeschool cart, I have one magazine holder for each kid and one for myself, and then there's an extra little space for some of the teacher guides that don't quite fit in the magazine holder. This works out really well to have each child's curriculum all in one place, so that they don't have to rifle through everything and find which one is theirs. It is visually very easy to get to and look at from the side which one they need to grab. And so that is a big time saver for sure, and just kind of helps to keep all of that stuff organized and in its own place. I just did a video last week about our homeschool cart organization and all of the things that I have on that, so I will link that here if that's something that you're interested in checking out as well. There are other homeschool families that use like a backpack to keep each kid's individual subjects in, or one of those plastic totes, or even just some kind of bin, so each kid has their stuff in their own individual area. So once I have that kind of laid out and figured out, I printed this out and I laminated it. You certainly don't have to do that, but I have this laminated so that we can keep this on the side of the fridge, and then the kids use a wet erase marker to go in and mark off things as they get them done. And we use wet erase markers because they don't just wipe off, they don't smudge off in case someone walks by and bumps it and then, oh no, what day was that on, right? So the wet erase markers are great for keeping track of that, and then we can just easily wipe this off since it's laminated and it's ready for the next school week. And then this is also very handy for me then to go back through if I have not been very good at doing my day-to-day record keeping in my planner. I can go back and look at this and see when they did each subject, especially for Evan, since he is free to do them on whichever days he wants. I can look through then and see when he did things to keep track of that in my planner as my reverse planning or record keeping that I do. Using this checklist like this has been something that has just been really great for helping keep our kids on track with what they need to do and keeping organized what we have done and what we need to do each day. So in our family, my oldest is in 7th grade this year. He knows, based on his list here, how many lessons or how many times he needs to do each subject per week. And then it is up to him when he wants to do them on his calendar. So if he wanted to choose Monday and do all 4 of his math lessons on Monday and then be done with math for the week, I'm okay with that. That's fine with me. My goal is just for him to get 4 done throughout the week, and I don't care when he does them. Generally speaking, he still kind of chooses to do 1 math lesson a day for the 4 traditional school days that we have. Flies. My 2 middle boys that are 3rd grade and 5th grade this year, they need a little bit more direction still. They're not quite ready to be totally independent yet. So I have kind of planned out here on this schedule for them which days I feel like would be a good balance of getting things done, so that we're not doing too many subjects on any given day. So you can see here how we kind of rotate through some of our like language arts type subjects, and then other ones are just kind of interspersed at random times to kind of figure out a balance so that each day should take about the same amount of time, knowing just kind of how long each of these things should probably take to get done. And so for us, we do math every day, we do language arts of some sort every day, and then the kids all do silent reading every day, and those are like the 3 main every single day these happen. So those are written out on there. With their language arts in particular, we are doing a writing curriculum that we're doing twice a week, and then we're doing spelling and grammar the other 2 days a week. And then my middle son here does an online dyslexia tutoring that he does every Wednesday, so that's perfect to kind of break up the week for him with his language arts curriculum. For science, my oldest is doing his own individual curriculum for that. And then the 2 other boys that are still elementary age are doing the same curriculum together. And so that's something that we do group style with both of them together. And then my daughter sits along with us too, so she kind of hears things, but she's not expected to do the notebooking and that kind of stuff that they do too. But it's fun for her to listen, and then especially when we're doing experiments, she loves to participate in that. So that is a great family style one that we do together as well. And then for her, just being in kindergarten, I am like huge on not doing too much too soon, waiting until they're ready to learn and to get into things, because if we force them to do it too soon, they're gonna learn to hate learning. It's just not gonna be fun for them. And kindergarten, especially early elementary ages, learning should be fun. It should be interactive and very, very short. Now I'm going to show you how I record all of that in my planner as kind of a follow-up to that reverse planning video that I did a couple of weeks ago. So let me open up to August here and I'll show you. We are just 1 week into our school year, so this is perfect. You can see while I'm still on top of things. You can see how I use this for reverse planning or record keeping. So I have my planner set up with a row for our family subjects and then one for each of my kids. And then at the end of the day, I will just go through and mark in here the things that we have done each day. This week being our very first week of school, we are doing school light, which means we're just kind of doing half days. So normally there will be a couple of more things here, especially in the family subject row. We do more things family style than what is written here for right now. But this is kind of what the layout looks like as I'm doing this with reverse planning. So then I also go through in the back of my planner with those individual subject checklist pages and just cross off the lessons that my kids have completed either at the end of the day or at the end of the week, so I can have that as a visual for what we have done so far for the entire school year and help keep me on track with what we're doing. I like that the planner is spiral bound, so I can open it up on one side here to my weekly schedule and then have the other side open to the individual checklist page, so I can fill these out real quick and then just flip it over and cross them off on the list, so I'm not having to flip back and forth as I'm going through these, and then I can just flip to my next kid and do the same thing and cross off on all the checklists. So that's just a little time saver. With all of these things, this is flexible, guys. It has to be, because life happens and things don't go as we have planned frequently. And we have to learn to be okay with if we do not, for some reason, get to 4 math lessons 1 week. That is okay. It's okay. We can pick up where we left off the next week and just keep running. We have to learn to kind of go with the flow and relax a little bit for your own sanity and for the sanity of your kids as well. No one thrives in a stressed out environment. So do what you can to just breathe a little bit. And be okay with letting some of those things of life happen. One of those big things too is that if one of your kids is really struggling with a concept, don't feel bad if you feel like you need to slow down and take an extra day or two for them to get it before you move on. You really don't want to force it. Our goal should be our child's understanding and knowledge of a concept rather than just pressing through to get through the curriculum. So one of my biggest pieces of advice is to not be slave to that checklist in the back of the book or the curriculum that tells you need to do a certain number of lessons per week or per day or however you figured out. Even if it's just what you figured out for yourself, be okay with putting a pause on it if you need to, because sometimes our kids just need that. and we don't want to push them into something before they're ready for it. That's one of the amazing freedoms we have as homeschoolers, is to be able to do things at our child's own pace, because every child learns everything at a different pace, at a different level, and that is okay. That is how all of us were made, and our ability to just kind of progress with our children is one of the beautiful things of homeschooling. And on the flip side, if one of our kids is just cruising through things and really understands a concept, it is okay to skip lessons and move ahead and then just mark them off on that checklist on the back and know that it's okay. You don't have to do every single lesson in a curriculum, and you can just move on if your child is ready for that. If you set this up and you feel like that it is just taking way too long to get through all of the things that you had planned out for a day on a consistent basis, then be okay with changing that and maybe cutting a subject or two out for the day and shift things around or do things a little bit less frequently so that you can still get to all the things that you need to do. Because the last thing we want is to just be like hounding our kids, right? To get to it and get on this, and we got to get through it and that kind of stuff. We don't want to force it. That's just would be miserable for everyone. So again, just keep in mind that this is all flexible and you will learn as you go. So set something up with the expectation that it will probably change, because it probably will, and that's fine, you know, and then make changes and kind of figure out a groove that is going to be a good fit for your family. I really hope that there were some things in here that helped you kind of figure out how all of this comes together, how all of the pieces fit, and how you can make a plan that is going to work for your family this year. Also, make sure you check out Dina's video. I will leave that link to her video in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.